the queens of the walkout and the music. In 3, 2, 1.
The best leadership happens when you step away for 10 minutes.
This is Back in 10. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Back in 10. I am Savanah.
And I'm Jen.
And if you tuned into last week's episode, we talked about first impressions and how to really wow those patients, especially new patients, when they walk through the door. This week, we'd like to talk about leaving a lasting impression and how your walkout is just as important as walking in.
Yes,
So,
queen.
Yes, queen. I just pulled that out of my ass. That sounded real fun and fancy.
That was so good.
That was so good. Who could have thought we could actually be podcasters?
We started this episode really good, so it was a good first impression. We need to make sure we end it good on that note too. So,
Agreed.
Okay, here we go.
So,
yes.
Lasting impressions. Let's talk about the handoff from the clinical team to the admin team. And I don't want to say from the front to the back because there's always a war between the front and the back that is so unnecessary and doesn't need to be there. Because why? Because you all need to keep on focusing on the mission of the practice and that it is about the patient experience.
Yes.
Right?
And it's always about the thermostat. So we don't need to worry about that, right? Make sure that the patients are comfortable. If you need to have the thermostat lower for your clinical team, have blankets, right? That's another thing that you could do too. Have something to keep your patients warm, especially if they're in your office for a longer procedure. That's going to make them feel comfortable, right? So once you get them all together, get them cleaned up. Please make sure that that patient walks out with no bib, no impression material, no prophy paste, any signs of any material on their persons.
And whatever appliances they might have walked in with and you put in to be cleaned, that they've been taken out and handed back to the patient.
Yes,
I've seen
please.
so many patients running back in being like, I didn't get my retainer back. Sorry, Sally.
Yeah. Well, we'll take care of that. And it's even nice if you give them a new case for it too. That's a good lasting impression. If you give them a new case every time they come in, it's really not that expensive. They come in 2 to 4 times a year. Give them a new case that's not grungy and gross. Just add it in, right? So I think that's definitely something that you could do as well. But that handoff, your team member, your clinical team member needs to physically walk with that patient to the checkout area, wherever that may be in your practice. They don't need to link arm in arms, although that could be fun sometimes too, but physically walk out there and get the attention of one of your admin team members that is responsible for doing the checkout. Sometimes they're busy. I've seen offices before that would use a sticky note and will put down things just to make sure that what was in the computer system was what was done. Or they would use a routing slip or something like that. The biggest thing for me is I want the patient to hear again what the doctor or the hygienist just said in the back. So if I'm the assistant, I'm going to come up and say, Dr. Carlson, you've been promoted, Savanah. Dr. Carlson today said that Chris needs to come in and have this done and explain everything to them, but it shouldn't be the first time that they're hearing it. So when they're hearing it multiple times, it's showing them the urgency, the care, the need to have that treatment done. It's not just go ahead, the next patient's coming, just go to the front, right?
And if you know you're going to be in a walkout blitz, is what I like to call it, just make sure that your admin team knows at 5 minutes of the hour, we're going to have 4 to 8 patients approaching the desk with the clinical team. Everyone needs to be all hands on deck and ready to accept those patients. Not everyone will be, you don't have 8 admin team members to go with all those patients. So we had a couple of comfy chairs next to the wall directly across from the checkout. So and it was open space too. We could see who was waiting. We don't like to make them wait, but when it comes to checkout, there are a lot of appointments that could need to be made. But just acknowledge those patients. So if your hygienist walks out, Sally, says, "Oh, Savannah's with a patient right now. I'm going to let her know that you'll be right here. And when she is ready, she will call you right up. It won't be more than a minute." Your hygienist will go to Savannah and say, "I have Sally right here when you're ready," and go on your way. Because you also don't want to tie up your hygienist from going back and cleaning up for the next patient either. So there has to be some give and take for that too.
I'm going to say something semi-controversial.
Oh, girl, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Hygienists, I'm going to say, should be scheduling their next recare appointment in the back in their operatory, number one. Number two, hygienists can also do the walkout. It is not difficult. If there is no operative appointment that needs to be made, then you can, as a hygienist, schedule their recare appointment, give them everything that they need, and you could be the one to give them the lasting impression and let them leave if everything is done.
I love that. I don't think that's controversial at all. I
There,
absolutely agree with that.
there's a lot of hygienists out there that do not want anything else added to their plate. I will say that is it's a big thing because you're adding it to their appointment time, right? It is important in my mind that that patient is taken care of, and there's no need for them to stop at the admin at the checkout area,
right,
and just have them stand there and wait if they're fine, right? You could also collect payment up front instead
you
of at
should
checkout.
collect payment up front unless they're getting a
Mhm,
product that they found out about in the hygiene room. But
mhm,
your treatment should be collected up front
mhm. Oh, I'll be controversial again. Hygienists
prior.
they can collect payment from their operatory too.
Okay,
There's
well,
so
I
many
haven't
different
explored
things.
that.
So, like, if there's a toothpaste or something like that, it's very simple for them to do it. And this is when it's important that everything that's in your system that you're proposing for today, that it's as correct as possible. Because your
Yeah.
admin team should collect it at the beginning of the appointment before they even go into the back, go
Mhm.
into the clinical area. And that also helps with bottlenecks too, if you have 8 patients that walk out. So that way you can make sure that all of that is done prior to, and you're not finding out at the end that the patient's not paying today after you just did this big procedure.
Mhm.
It can be collected in the front. It is a big switch. It's a different mindset if you are collecting at the end of the appointment versus the beginning of the appointment, but
Mhm.
it also leaves a really good lasting impression if everything is done. It's, I'm so glad that did you have a great appointment today? We would love a review from you, right? Ask them, how was your visit today? Just ask them how it was. I see that you have an
Rather
appointment scheduled. Okay, you're good to go.
Yeah, rather than, "I'm glad you had that appointment. I hope you feel better. $5,000, please." Like, it's a tough pill to
Exactly.
swallow. It's a tough pill to swallow. I'm intrigued by having hygienists collect payment in the back only because I prefer to separate clinical
Mhm.
from business,
Mhm.
in terms of money. Um,
Mhm.
and leave those kind of conversations up to the
Mhm.
admin team. But I mean, that's a preference thing.
Yeah.
If you have a cross-trained
Mhm.
admin, that's fine. If that's the case, I would rather have an extra available computer at the front where that
Mhm.
admin team member can collect that payment at the
Mhm.
front rather than in the clinical area.
Yeah. And to clarify too, I'm not talking about like treatment. I'm not talking
Oh
about
God,
like
no.
scaling and root planning, anything like that. I'm talking like if they wanted to buy an electric toothbrush today, or if they wanted a tube of toothpaste or something like that, anything that they need a treatment plan for, 1,000% is never being
Mhm,
done. You're never
mhm,
collecting anything that you're doing in the back. It's really for like a product off of your shelf
mhm.
versus a treatment plan. And you can. It's not like some offices do it, some offices don't. It's just an option, right? We're here to share. So that is an option. But
And utilize your practice management software. Have your hygiene team ping your front desk team. If rather than, I'm bringing Sally directly in the conference room, we have a large treatment plan that needs to go over. They're not coming to check out. Okay, cool. I won't have to expect that patient. I will ping my office manager, let them know that there's a patient waiting in the consultation room to go over the treatment plan. So utilize your PMS when it comes to those things.
Mhm.
It's there to help you,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Exactly. And I think a lot of times people forget about it. They forget or they don't know all of the advantages that they have, but that's
Mhm.
also part of it, right? So we're talking about lasting impressions. How about you send an email after the patient leaves? Send them a text message. Thank you so much for coming in today. If you have any questions about the treatment that you had, or if anything comes up, please reach out. Right. You could also send them a link to a Google, to write a review, and it goes right to Google. There's so many different things that you can do, but use your practice management software or different softwares that you have to
Mhm.
also help with that lasting impression too.
Mhm. And I can't believe there are hygienists that fight scheduling the next recare appointment. If that's something that the practice feels strongly about and is implemented and you're allowing your hygiene team to walk over that, there's some bigger conversations that need to happen with your hygiene team uh, regarding your mission and your goals for the practice. What's better than having the patient literally in your chair after having their appointment with you and saying, "Hey, how about we reserve your next appointment for 6 months?" And Savanah at the front will have your card ready, or Savanah at the front will make sure to push that through in a text message for you. Done and done. I mean,
Mhm.
I know the hygienists have a lot going on during a hygiene appointment, but the front desk also has a lot going on the checkout. So uh,
Yep.
it's a give and take. Everyone has to help each other.
Mhm. I could go on for days about hygiene scheduling and what that looks like because there a lot of hygienists give treatment away, and it's really not
Mm-hmm.
what's best for the patient either, right? So they'll go in there and they'll scale their teeth for like 40 minutes. I'm like, that's not a prophy appointment then,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there's so much that goes into that. Um, I think look, it is really important that you set yourself and you set your team up and you set your patients up for success. And when you're talking about hygiene specifically, you just need to get a better understanding of your workflow and figure out a system that works well for you so you can give the patient the best care, not just clinical care, their overall care and experience in the practice. Because if they don't have a good experience with you, they're going to go right down the street to another dentist,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
And
So,
before we sign off on this, can we just quickly chat about lasting impression with practice swag? This
ooh,
goes hot and cold, whether or not we should just hand out toothbrushes, toothpaste, floss in a travel bag, or offer it and let the patient make that decision.
mhm,
So, cost
yeah.
effectiveness. Where do you
Do you-
sit, Jen?
Okay, so this is what I'll say. I am not a fan of the prep and ready-made bags.
Same.
Yes, it might take a little bit more time, but I also want to showcase the organization in our office and have a patient giveaway patient swag closet. And it might not be an entire closet, but a portion of a closet that you can like open the doors and say, "Hey, Mrs. Jones, today I saw this. These are the um different care items that I would recommend for you." So here's whether it's a mouthwash or coupons, you don't have to give them everything. Supply them with coupons, right? There's so many different ones out there that you can even check off which product it is. Um,
Mhm.
you can do that for them. Give them the toothbrush if they need a travel toothbrush or the specific toothpaste, floss picks, especially if you have like children with ortho, like give them the things that they need. But those are things that you should have gone over with them during their recare appointment. So essentially, like, you've used some already, and here's your bag of the things that are specific to you. Another thing that I love on that note is having like a menu that you can share with them. So it
Love a
is
good dental
all
menu. Oh, I
yeah, like
love it.
all of these different products with check marks next to them, and their hygienist or their clinical team member, assistant doctor can check off which ones that they would recommend for them. So it doesn't mean that you need to have it in your office to supply them with, but it's a little menu, it's a little checklist, and it's specific to that patient. So you could even put their name up at the top and put their hygienist name up at the top, right? These are the recommendations that Jen gave you today. And you can check off which ones. You could even have a little QR code and it goes to your office's Amazon storefront that
yeah,
they can
girl.
see all those products that are in there and they can just click it. Very simple. While they're in your office, they'll probably get it tomorrow or the next day if they did it from Amazon. So there's so many different things that you can do, but please, please, please make it specific to that patient. It's also going to give them that lasting impression that you care, and that even when you're not physically with them, when they're at home, there are things that you have supplied them or recommended that they use to try to help them until they see you next time.
And we used to give out hygiene report cards. So we'd have a standard report card, and the hygienist would check off what was going well, what they needed to work on, products they should invest in, if they needed treatment, which was a good reminder to them when they were taken to the admin team of, here's your report card from today. This is what we talked about. If you have any questions, I know we talked about a lot. Give me a holler. You did mention something about like a menu, like a checkout menu or list. Something to think about is also to have a comfort menu for those restorative appointments that are long and super invasive, and people just need an extra dose of TLC. Create a comfort menu and don't make it extravagant. We don't need paraffin wax unless you're like some bougie boutique practice. In that case, shoot me an email because I want to see what you are about.
We'd love to come and see that. Yeah.
But a couple of things on a comfort menu go a real long way and leave a great lasting impression.
1,000%.
I'm going to leave you with this lasting impression.
Sounds good. Me too.
Back and swag. How's that? Oh, wait, I got more.
Oh, wait, there's more. Yeah,
there's
see?
More.
So many. Well, have a wonderful day, everyone. And please make sure that if you do nothing else but this today, make sure that your patients have an amazing experience and a great lasting impression so they come back and they tell their family and friends.
And everybody wins. Huzzah! Later, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks for spending a few minutes with us on Back in 10.
If something made you laugh, nod, or feel a little more human, share it with a friend and make sure that you're subscribed.
You can also follow us on Instagram at Back in 10 Pod for more behind the scenes, updates, and probably a little chaos.
We're not here to have it all figured out. We're just here to tell you the things that we wish someone had told us.
And remind you that leadership doesn't have to be perfect, just real.
We'll be back in 10.